Hi, I suddenly realised that I hadn't shown you inside the mirror-fronted wardrobe doors, which a lot of people have shown interest in, so here goes. So we've got here 5 mirror-fronted doors, about 66.1, so 5 of them, so that's effectively 3 metres or about 10 feet in old money. And I quite like the little doors because they're easier to hang, because they're lighter if you want to try and put them in on your own. But just a word of warning, when you are installing them, just make sure you hold both sides together of the doors when you put them up. Don't try and just pick them up by the edge of the frame, because you'll find that the frame and the mirror glass come apart and it ends up on your foot, making you howl with pain. So I speak from experience. But as we go in here, in this instance, we've gone for a deeper wardrobe just to accommodate the baskets around the chimney breast. So this is about 73 centimetres deep. Excuse all the mess, but basically we've got a low clothes hanging rail in there. Details of how to do this are on other of my videos, which hopefully I shall link you through to. Then above here we've gone for 2 shelves. You can have whatever number of shelves you want. This is what seemed to suit us to fit the storage boxes, which was the critical part of this design process. But you do what you want to do. But what I've done is I've made the shelves using 18mm plywood, which has got birch ply, and I've just edged it with a little bit of de-edging, and then that just makes it all nice and relatively tidy and relatively inexpensive. In the centre here, just to get around the chimney breast, we've got one at the bottom, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 effectively shelves there, once again with the birch ply, which I think makes quite a nice finish, with a couple of coats of gloss and a bit of sanding in between the coats, and it's all supported on relatively inexpensive plain timber supports with this natural de-edging. In the end here we've got the longer clothes hanging rail drop, which gives you room for your frocks, show me age now, and then also this shows you a little bit of the detail of how we've joined the little middle shelves to the timber uprights, so just on bearers. So then we've got that big shelf there which goes right up to the roof, or ceiling space, and that gives you plenty of room for your suitcases, etc, etc. But if you look at some of my other videos, it shows you how to install a clothes hanging rail. But the beauty of doing it yourself is then you've got the maximum number of options, so you can have exactly what works for you rather than being dictated to by what somebody else thinks you need. And the 8x4 sheets of 18mm birch face ply are relatively inexpensive, and that combined with a decent quality circular saw, you can fairly quickly create, as I say, all sorts of different options that fit your requirements, and it saves you having to go up and down into the attic. A lot of the videos you see online from the manufacturers say that you can put these things together in a very, very short number of hours. Well, that's fine if you've got an ideal completely square aperture of exactly the right size, but in this case it's a Victorian house, so we had to make a fill-in piece for the top, so it takes longer, but a competent DIY would do the doors and door structure certainly within a day, I would have thought, and then you can make up the fitments at your leisure. But depending on the equipment you got, and if you've got decent power tools, etc, etc, then you can make up the different combinations of fitments for the inside relatively quickly. The beauty of the mirror fronted doors is that although you've taken 80 centimetres off the bedroom, the mirror effect gives that extra distance between the far wall where I am now and the mirror. So effectively you've increased the distance dramatically, and so although you've lost 80 centimetres off the size of the room, in truth visually you've gained more than much more than you've lost. May mean that you'll have to be a little bit slimmer to get past the bed. Reminds me I need to go on a diet. If you found this at all useful, please do give it the thumbs up and do subscribe. I'm just going to go and see whether the pigeon is sitting on top of the outside street light. Let's have a look. There he or she is, quite well camouflaged by the street light. Just happily staying near the nest, but far enough away not to be bothered by the children. Result: